Welcome back to class, everybody. I am the host of the Weebology podcast, Ethan, and today I'm going to be doing my episode 4 review for Gleipnir. So obviously we've been watching these shows every week. I'm doing Gleipnir, Ricky's doing Tower of God, and we're doing a review of them every week, and we're doing a separate YouTube video as well as a combined podcast episode. So you can get both of those every Thursday on YouTube or on anywhere you get podcasts. So I'm going to hop right into it. So this episode was very interesting. I would say one of the slower episodes we've seen so far, but with like a lot of stuff that happened, if that makes any sense at all. I don't think it does, but I'll explain. In terms of like plot progression, I think not a ton happened. But we do in the beginning see this random girl looking for these coins. She's obviously a gatherer in this forest, and she runs into like this mountain gang essentially of gatherers who have like marked this territory, and they're like, "You're not getting out of here alive. Like, this is our territory essentially." So, and then it cuts off. So I don't actually know what happens to her, but I think it just was meant to basically bring up the fact that there's this gang of gatherers up in the mountains, so that later when Shuichi and Claire go up there, like I guess you're meant to believe they're gonna run into them. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know, it seemed a little bit unnecessary for the story considering they do run into like a member of that gang later, but it's like after this big fight they just had with this insane guy. So let's just move on to him, because honestly this episode was like very light on like stuff happening other than this one big fight that happened. So they go to the mountains to gather coins for blonde alien boy from episode 3. He basically told him like, you gather these coins and you can get powers out of the vending machine. What I don't know or don't understand really is, like, during last episode, they basically didn't make any, not overtures, but they didn't, like, explain it all that, okay, yeah, we're going to go for more power, or, Shuichi's going to buff up his dog form or anything like that, right? So I don't even know why they're doing this. Like, why do they care? Why are they gathering these coins? I don't understand. Like, what is their goal, right? Is their goal to kill Elena, or is their goal to figure out why she turned him into a dog? Like, I think they need to do a little bit better job of, like, explaining what their goal is moving forward from this point. And then also, like, what do they desire from these powers, right? Like, why, if they're going to say, like, okay, we want to gain powers by getting these coins and giving them back to Alien Boy, like, do they want more power to fend off Elena? Do they want more power to, like, you know what I mean? They just need to explain a little bit more, because right now they did like a really poor job of explaining, like, after they met Elena the last couple of episodes, really what's the point, right? So kind of moving on from that, they do go to the mountain to do their gathering stuff, and they run into Shuichi basically catches this sniff of this like absolute monster lad. Looks like Demon Skull from Yu-Gi-Oh, except a matte black version of him. And he's got like two big ass scythe arms instead of Demon Skull's claws, right? But yeah, so they go to him, and they come out of the cover and start talking to him. Only Claire is speaking at this point, though, and she's asking him kind of about the coins, like, basically, does he have any information about this stuff? Because, like, they're really, honestly, at this point, pretty low on information related to, like, the quest, what a gatherer is, who are gatherers, are there a lot of them, are there few of them, how strong are they, right? And so that's kind of like what they're going through in this episode, is like trying to get some of those answers. So like, they did obviously kill the high school girl in episode 2, the high school track girl that had been a gatherer, but it seemed like she was pretty much like a newbie gatherer. So I think what Claire's goal is here is to figure out, like, on this power scale, is Elena the ceiling, or is there so many more powerful people, right? So I think that's kind of like where they're going in this episode. And they definitely make that kind of clear near the end of the episode after this massive fight with Demon Skull Boy. Um, Basically, he's this sophomore in college who is just like a martial arts nut and just wanted an insanely strong body. I guess he found a coin and made his way to this motel, and basically his like perfect version of himself or whatever is this like it's like armored up, and he's got these two big scythes. So they end up kind of getting in a fight because this guy doesn't know anything, and he just is looking for basically strong opponents. He's like a very shonen type guy, right? Just wants to fight everyone and wants like strong opponents. So like, I think you can respect him from that like ideal. What I don't get is at one point he had mentioned that he tried out his new form on like people, and from the quick glimpse, there was like lots of just random people's bodies on the ground. So like, is this dude a bad guy? Is he just going out slaughtering people? Like, I don't know. Like, this episode, I think honestly was not good. Like, they did some pretty cool stuff introducing Skull Boy, and basically they just have this massive fight, and Claire's the only one speaking for most of it, and she basically is trying to make this guy believe that she's actually the gatherer inside the suit, and like that's her power, right? And then by the end of it, you find out like he's just like way overpowering them. They literally shoot their gun at him, and it like it hurts his arm pretty bad. Like it smashes one of his blades, and he goes, okay, now I know that I can still get shot, but I'll still block it. So like he de-transforms quite a few times during this fight, and it's like, I don't know, it's like such a weird episode. Like kind of pretty scattered on what the plot was. This guy basically decides that he wants to, he's just looking for like a good fight, I guess. And then he's using his secret technique that he learned. Basically, he decided to make his own martial art for his new body, and he does this like very obvious like ultimate move where he just like cranes back as far as he can with his big ass knife hands and slams forward into the ground, creating this like big, concussive wave, which they dodged with relative ease. And then Claire is actually holding the gun on the other side of him, and Shuichi is grabbing Skull Boy and basically holding him in place so like she can shoot him and kill him. But this guy's a pretty savvy fighter, it seems, because he kind of realizes that a normal human shooting this gun would like obviously the recoil would be too much and they'd be like completely out of the fight. So he has an inkling that they're not like from the same person. And then for whatever effing reason, Shuichi just starts talking to like completely blow their cover. And he goes like, admit you lost, and then, I'll let you go and we can kind of move on. And I'm like, the dude could just kick your ass right now if he wanted to. Because like if she shoots him, she's dead because that gun's just going to slam her in the face. Like she's just... I don't know. This was just like a dorky fight. Like even the Ecchi was down this episode. Like I don't know. Like I feel like this episode specifically, they kind of like, it was obviously all set up to get this guy on the team. So there's one of the gang members from that mountain gang that kidnapped the girl in the beginning of the episode comes over and starts taking pictures of them in their like human forms. And he's like, ha ha ha, you have to do what I want because you can't hide from me. Even if you're in your human form, I'm going to be able to go to the city and find you. And our new homie, Mr. Judo Boy, comes over and just slices the guy in half. And then Claire laughs hysterically. And we're kind of like, yo, what the hell is wrong with this chick? Is she like okay? And she explains that she was looking for the power scale, like are they on the low end, is Elena the top end, that kind of thing, like I had mentioned. And she was freaking out because other than the first girl, the 2 other gatherers they fought have been like monstrously strong. And so she was happy to know that there's kind of a low end as well, because this guy comes in and just easily, one shots this big old ugly creep. And so she's pretty happy about the fact that, they're going to have a chance moving forward, to obviously survive encounters with other monsters. I guess what I'm looking for is, like I mentioned a little bit in the beginning, is like a very solid reason for them to continue on, right? Like, I think if they have a conversation with new boy, judo boy that they just acquired to the squad, and maybe say like, look, Elena is her sister and she's a freak beast, insanely strong. We're gonna need your help to kick her ass. Like, that's really all I need to know. What I do want to know is like what they want to do with these stupid coins if they do gather them, right? Like, can they upgrade their form? Like, I don't know. They just need to explain the mechanics to me a little bit for me to be like, my OCD to be quelled and like a little bit comforted. But I don't know. Overall, I'd say this was like honestly the worst episode so far for me personally. The fight was pretty cool, but other than that, it was like fairly lame. And like even in the fight, I think they did like a lot of really dumb shit that I wouldn't have done, or like I don't think Claire frankly would have done, because she's like seems to be like a relatively decent tactician and strategist, and then Shuichi blows the complete shit out of it when he starts talking, so the guy knows it's 2 people. It's like you have like very few advantages in a situation like this. Like, the guy's obviously stronger than you. He can tank your bullets. He can slice you in half. Like, how about hold on to anything you can to have the advantage? But yeah, I mean, so like I would probably give it out of 10. This was like a 68. 68 out of 100, not out of 10. Duh. But yeah, so I think it was just basically a setup episode, but like very little like actual content. Like, I think the only real things we learned was they've decided to go on this gathering quest, and also that they are in the mountains where there's apparently a gang, and they got a new homie. So I'm definitely excited to see about him, because he seems really strong, and he's got like a really sick character design. Obviously, I'll probably pop it up throughout the video here, if you're watching on YouTube, and you'll be able to see that. But yeah, I mean, I'd say so far the show is good. I think it's lacking a lot of the like world building, and I mean, it's a mystery, right? It's like a Seinin mystery. They're just trying to give you a million mysteries, and like hopefully you'll stumble into some answers along the way. I'm probably too OCD for that kind of plot where it's just up and down and up and down, but I'm giving it a whirl. I think guys should still be watching it. It's a lot of fun. So please like, comment, subscribe, hit the little notification bell if you want to be notified anytime we drop a new video. And I will see you on the next one. Deuces.